Okay, we meet again. Today we are going to discuss poem or poetry. We focus on today's discussion under the topic figurative language and irony. First is figurative language. So if you are familiar with figurative language, in Bahasa Indonesia, it means majas. So I believe you know them already, yeah? So figurative language versus literal language. Here, figurative language is any use of language where the intended meaning differs from the actual literal meaning of the words themselves. While literal language is our everyday language, we mean what we say. Here are some examples of figurative language. First, I have simile. So, simile is a comparison of two things, and it has keywords such as like, as, than, similar to, resembles, or seems. Usually, simile is the comparison between two unlike objects. So, different from literal language, when we compare things in literal language, usually we compare apple to apple, but in figurative language, it's not necessarily like that. For example, she is as beautiful as a sunrise. Here we have the keyword as, yeah, to indicate that this is a simile. While what is being compared here? Yes, a human or a woman, yeah, is being compared to a sunrise. So human is being compared to a thing, yeah. Or another example, my love is like a red, red rose by Burns. So here, what is being compared here? If you remember the discussion in meeting two, we have concrete words and we also have abstract words. So here we are comparing abstract words or the idea of love to a concrete word such as here rose, yeah. So with the keywords like as to indicate simile. And then next, another example, how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child by Shakespeare. So here what is being compared is a serpent's tooth and a thankless child. Again, a thing to a person. So with the keyword than. So that's the example of a simile. Next, we have metaphor. Different from simile, in metaphor is a direct comparison of two unlike things. So because it's a direct comparison, we don't have any keywords, yeah? So it's a direct relationship where one thing or idea substitutes for another. For example, her hair is silk. Yeah, so it's not her hair like silk or her hair is soft as silk, but we define that the hair is silk. Yeah. Okay. Next is we have hyperbole. Yeah. Hyperbole is a very popular figurative language. It's an exaggeration. Yeah. It often used for emphasis. Examples: my backpack weighs a ton, or I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. We understand that both sentences are not literally true. Yeah, there is no way a backpack can weigh a ton, and there is no way, no matter how hungry we are, we can eat a horse. So those sentences are exaggerations. Um, the opposite of hyperbole, we have litotes. So a litotes is an understatement. It's the opposite of hyperbole. Sometimes it's ironic, yeah. For example, like calling a slow-moving person speedy, or maybe welcome to my den, something like that. It's an understatement. Okay, next we have idiom. Idiom Idiom is an expression where the literal meaning of the words is not the meaning of the expression. It means something other than what it actually says. Idioms are phrases and sentences that do not mean exactly what they say. So we cannot uh, translate an idiom word by word. So we have to understand the culture behind it. Here are some examples that you can try to find the meaning behind this idiom. It's raining cats and dogs. Of course, if we try to translate it word per word, it doesn't make sense, right? But it has another meaning. It's not literally raining cats and dogs. Or you're barking up the wrong tree. She got cold feet. Couch potato. Dear John letter is down in the dumps. So you can try to find the meaning of these idioms by yourself. Okay. Next, we have personification. Personification is giving human qualities, feelings, actions, or characteristics to non-living objects or animals. For example, we have the sun smiled at me. So the sun is a non-living object. Smile is an activity or an action done by human, right? So it's a personification of the sun. Or, for example, here, a poem by Emily Dickinson. As I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. So here we are personificating death. Yeah. Okay. Next we have allusion. An allusion comes from the verb allude, which means to refer to. An allusion is a reference to something famous. Now let's read an example below. A tunnel walled and overlaid with dazzling crystal we had read, of rare Aladdin's wondrous cave, and to our own his name we gave. From Snowbound. So here we have a piece of poem, yeah. It refers to, or it alludes to something famous. I believe you know Aladdin, yeah, Aladdin's story. So Aladdin's story is very famous. So it is put in this poem to refer to that famous story. That's an allusion. Next, we have apostrophe. Apostrophe is a person or thing which is absent is addressed. For example, oh son, I miss you now that it's December. So I believe it's not comprehensible because we are in Indonesia where it's sunny every month, yeah, but in places that has that have 4 seasons. Usually in December, they are in winter, so they don't really have the sun coming. Okay, so now we move on to irony. I have pictures to give you uh, understanding of what an irony is. Let's take a look at this picture. Another picture. All right, so I hope that you get a glimpse of understanding by looking at those pictures of what is an irony. So, an irony is a surprise. So, when you look at those pictures, of course, what, huh? That's maybe your original response. So, it is the difference between what we expect to happen and what actually does happen. So, for example, here we have in this picture, we expect because those people are going to fitness center, we expect that they are going to take the stairs. But what happened in reality, that they're not. They're choosing the escalator, yeah, to go to the fitness center. Okay, so it's again the difference between what we expect to happen and what actually does happen. It is often used to add suspense and interest. It is also used to keep the reader thinking about the moral of the story. Uh, Irony is divided into three types: verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. Verbal irony. It's the simplest kind of irony. We use it every day when you say one thing but you mean another. Maybe, for example, hello class, I have a bad news for you. So when your teacher or when your lecturer said this, you might be scared. Oh, what is the bad news? And then your teacher or your lecturer said, all of you got A's and B's. So when you got A's and B's, those are not bad news, right? And then next is verbal irony versus sarcasm. So the word sarcasm comes from a Greek word meaning to tear flesh. So it is simply bitter or cutting speech intended to wound the feelings. Sarcasm sometimes represents verbal irony, but mostly it doesn't. So yes, sarcasm is part of verbal irony, but a verbal irony doesn't have to be a sarcasm. Yeah, verbal irony doesn't always have to be a sarcasm because sarcasm always hurtful. Okay. For example, I have two sentences. The first sentence, during your teaching, one of your students asked, I don't understand. And you said, well, I wouldn't expect you to. And number two, when you appear to be sick and someone asks you if you're okay, you say, of course, but in the meantime, you are vomiting. So from these two examples, which one is a sarcasm? Yes, so the first one in the red box and the second one in the yellow box. The red box is sarcasm and the yellow box is an irony. Okay, now situational irony occurs when a situation turns out to be the opposite of what you thought it would be. So a situation here, but meaning a situation in real life. Yeah. For example, the teacher's daughter is a high school dropout. or the mayor's wife gets caught stealing. The chef won't eat his or her own cooking. The barber always needs a haircut himself. So a mayor's wife gets caught stealing. So we thought that being a mayor's wife will make you have enough money, right? But at the end, we caught her stealing. So it's a situation that turns out to be the opposite of what you thought it would be. Situational irony in literature. Here I have some examples. The Gift of the Magi. Uh, a poor young husband pawned his most prized possession, a gold watch, in order to buy his wife a set of combs for her hair for Christmas. And his wife sells her most prized possession, her long brown hair, in order to buy a fob chain for his gold watch. Okay, I hope you understand the irony in this situation. Next, the tale of King Midas. King Midas is granted his fondest wish that anything he touched turned to gold, and then finds that he cannot eat because that even his food turns to gold. Then we have dramatic irony occurs when the audience knows something that the characters in a story on the screen or on the stage do not know. It's like the audience is more aware of what's going on than the people in the production. So, for example, when you watch a film or a movie where you know the killer or you know the culprit behind the murder, for example, but the main character, doesn't know. So it's a dramatic irony. This is used to engage the audience and keep them actively involved in the storyline. So now I would like you to do some practice. I want you to find figurative language in the poem you are assigned, and then after that, the irony in the poem you are assigned. So here are the poems. Yeah. So this is an individual practice. Student with odd student number will do the first poem. Student with the even number will do the second poem. So this is the first poem for student with odd student number. Ozymandias. And then the second poem for students with even student number. The title, At the National Monument Along the Canadian Border. I want you to collect the practice next week in this Google Classroom. And then here also assignment 1. Today, this meeting is the end of our discussion in poetry. So it means we will have assignment 1. Assignment 1, like I said, you will compose a poem. So what I want you to do, I want you to write an acrostic poem in English using your name. If you don't know what is an acrostic poem or you forget, you can visit our first meeting. I explained about acrostic poem using your name. So if your name consists of more than 2 words, yeah. For example, my name is Radhika Agustina, consists of 2 words. So you can just go by that. But have if your name have more than that, you can choose. You can use your first name and your middle name, or your first name and your last name. Okay. So post the poem in your Instagram. You can use any pictures you like, and then you can tag my Instagram at Dipta Violeta and our study program Instagram at ELASP_Umrah. Okay, if you have further question about our assignment one or our practice for today, you are welcome to ask in our study group in WhatsApp. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Have a nice day.